What you are about to hear is an experiment in 2 parts. In the first part, I asked Claude, the artificial intelligence, to reach into the Urim Thummim version corpus of 34,425 verses and pull 7 at random. No prayer. No random.org. No shield protocol invocation. Just a machine using Python's pseudo-random number generator. The purpose? To demonstrate what noise looks like. Because if you're going to claim signal, you'd better know what the absence of signal sounds like first. In the second part, we let the translation speak. 7 landmark passages placed side by side with the King James, so you can hear the covenantal voice that distinguishes the UTV. This isn't a random draw. This is translation theology made audible. Here is what Claude's algorithm selected. Draw 1, 1 Kings 10:29, a chariot trade inventory from Solomon's reign. 1 marker fires. Governance. The machine picked a receipt. Draw 2, Mark 4:9, he that has ears to hear, let him hear. 0 markers. Beautiful sentence, but statistically invisible. Draw 3, Proverbs 10:11, the mouth of a covenant faithful man is a well of life, but violence covers the mouth of the covenant wicked. 3 markers activate. Inheritance, covenant blessing, covenant keeping. But notice, still no dominion triad convergence. The markers respond to the UTV's covenantal vocabulary, not to any guided selection. Draw 4, 1 Chronicles 5:7, a genealogy. 3 markers, identity, governance, tribal, because genealogies naturally trigger identity flags. The content dictates the markers, not any higher selection. Draw 5, 1 Chronicles 24:4, a division of priestly households. 0 markers. The machine found another receipt. Draw 6, Jeremiah 23:11, prophetic judgment. 1 marker. No convergence. Draw 7, Isaiah 23:17, YHWH visiting Tyre. 3 markers, identity, governance, tribal, standard prophetic vocabulary, not evidence of guided selection. Here are the numbers. Corpus baseline mean marker sum, 1.21. Claude's 7 draws averaged 1.57. Z-score, 0.875. P-value, 0.38. Nowhere near the 0.05 threshold. 0 dominion triad convergences out of 7 draws. Verdict: confirmed noise. The machine reached into the text blindly, and the text gave back scattered fragments with no coherent theological thread. This is what the absence of the life force looks like inside the shield protocol. Remember this sound. Now forget the algorithm. What I want you to hear is the signal that lives in the translation itself, the UTV beside the King James on passages every Bible reader knows. Genesis 1:1. King James, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. UTV, in the beginning Elohim created the visible universe and the earth. 3 differences in 11 words. A. Beginning, because the Hebrew is indefinite. Elohim, because that is the name. The visible universe, because Shemayim encompasses more than sky. Every change is a Masoretic decision. Exodus 3:14. King James, I am that I am. UTV, I am that which I am. 1 word, which instead of the second that. The relative pronoun shifts from tautology to revelation. Elohim is not repeating himself. He is declaring that his nature is the very substance of existence. Psalm 23:1. King James, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. UTV, YHWH is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in grassland pastures, he leads me to the resting place of waters. Lord becomes YHWH, the covenant name restored. And resting place of waters, not still waters. The Hebrew minutia means a settled dwelling. David isn't describing a quiet pond. He's describing a destination. Isaiah 53:5. King James, he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities, the chastisement of our peace was upon him. UTV, he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our depravities, the chastening of our welfare was upon him. Depravities instead of iniquities. The Hebrew avon carries a weight that iniquity has lost through centuries of over-familiarity. And welfare instead of peace, because shalom in this context isn't tranquility, it's total well-being. Two covenant markers fire here: covenant blessing and covenant keeping. This is the hinge of covenantal theology, and the UTV restores its severity. John 1:1. King James, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." UTV, "Originally I was the Word, but the Word I was with Elohim, and Elohim I was the Word." Listen to that inversion. Originally I was the Word. The first-person voice enters immediately. This isn't a theologian describing the logos from the outside. This is the logos speaking. The subject and the predicate reverse: Elohim I was the Word, and the grammar itself becomes incarnational. Romans 8:28. All things work together for good to them that love Elohim. One word changes, Elohim for God. But that one word reconnects this epistle to the same deity who spoke in Genesis 1:1. The UTV uses the name or the Hebrew designation across both testaments, creating a single covenantal thread from first verse to last. Revelation 21:1. King James, "The first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." UTV, "The first heaven and the first earth departed, and the sea does not exist any longer." Departed, not passed away. The old creation didn't fade. It left, voluntarily, decisively. And the sea doesn't merely vanish. It ceases to exist. The language shifts from poetic euphemism to ontological declaration. The UTV treats the new creation not as replacement, but as total reordering. Here is what this exercise demonstrates. When a machine draws without guidance, you get noise, a p-value of 0.38 and a collection of verses with no theological coherence. That is what random looks like. But when you let the translation speak, when you place the UTV beside the tradition it emerged from, you hear what no algorithm could produce. You hear 50 years of a translator choosing Elohim over God, YHWH over Lord, depravities over iniquities, the resting place of waters over still waters. You hear signal, not statistical signal, but translational signal. The signal of a human being who believed the original language had something to say that had never been fully heard in English. The noise test proved the machine can't find what isn't there. The translation test proved the translator already put it there, word by word, verse by verse, across the entire canon. This is Dallas James, Heart's Two Fathers Publishing. The Urim Thummim version speaks.